For under $10 in this video, I'm going to show you how I got an old school set of 42-pound injectors unstuck and cleaned using some basic stuff that you get from the parts store. Before we would install them on our old Fox body Mustang, we got to make sure they spray and we got to make sure they're clean. So before you go out and spend hundreds of dollars on a new set of injectors, let me show you how we cleaned our injectors here in the channel. So let's head into the shop and get started. This is my dad's 1988 Ford Mustang LX. We have actually did a video on this very engine. Flipped pistons, GT40P heads rebuilt. Pretty much a basic junkyard 302 build. Used some old turbo piping and pieces that we've had for years on the shelf. And it was a pretty basic do-it-yourself, super fun build. Made like 370 wheel horsepower, 420 torque. But it uses an old school technology like the fuel management unit, which is an FMU. Put 24-pound injectors in it. You basically manipulate fuel pressure to handle the 6 or 7 pounds of boost that it has. But in order for us to make a little more power and to actually get the car run better, we got to put better injectors in. And we're going to mass air convert it right here on the channel using some of the old school technology that we've had sitting in our shelves for a number of years, including that old Ford Motorsports plug that goes in between the computer and comes out here and attaches to the mass air. So we're going to convert this old school style. We're going to put these old school Ford Racing 42-pound injectors in after we clean them. And in the next video, we're going to set up a tune. I think we got an old tune that'll work from Project Hot Wheels and even go to the dyno. But for now, let's head into the shop. I'm going to show you some of the simple stuff that I bought at the parts store and how to clean some injectors. Now folks, this is just a rudimentary way of showing you how to clean some injectors. I figured I would bring it to you and show you kind of what we do. If you're running 60s or 80s or 120s, 210s, you're gonna wanna send your injectors out to get them professionally flow matched, professionally cleaned. Spend the money on it, it's worth it to do. But today we're just gonna be focusing on kind of a budget way of cleaning them, checking them, and focusing more on just the factory Ford injector. On 19-pound injectors, which came in just practically about everything Ford. 24s, which came in SHOs and a number of other Ford vehicles. 30-pound injectors, which came in just about every Super Coupe, and 42-pound injectors, which I do believe came in some of the Navigator motors. Now, we're not going to clean all these injectors. I just wanted to show you some, and we even got some aftermarket 42s from, like, I don't know, like a knockoff brand. I don't even think they have a brand. They have the old Ford number, but there's no Ford symbol on them. Okay, real quick, let me show you how I made this kit. For like 10 bucks, you can make this yourself too. But again, it's not perfect. It's just kind of rudimentary. Let me show you what we got going on here. I went to the store. I bought a couple packs of tire valves. Ran over to Tractor Supply, grabbed a positive and a negative clip so we could put them on our battery here and use it for testing. While I was there at the parts store, grabbed a little cheap $3 momentary switch. I think those clips were a couple dollars a piece. Wasn't very much money. We bought us a can of carb cleaner. Now you could use brake cleaner. You could use whatever you want to use, but we got a set of cheap little connectors, and most likely you're going to use these blue male and female connectors. Got some extra wiring that we had over in our boxes. We connected them to our terminals here, black and red. And then off one of the old parts cars, we had a broken clip, injector clip. In between one of the other, it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, you can put this momentary switch so you can fire the injector. Couple connections, not hard to hook up. Now on to the tire valve setup. So we took the tire valve and we took the valve actually out of the middle of it, so it just sprays. This makes for a perfect way to kind of pressurize the backside of the injector. So what we came up with, and I seen this on another show, is I took a tire valve and I took a clamp to keep it kind of tight, and I'm able to actually stick like this injector just inside of that rubber. You see right there? You would think I would be able to clamp this down and it worked, but it doesn't. So we're just gonna end up holding the injector, powering it with our momentary switch through this straw through the carb cleaner. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So what we did was we drilled a hole just enough for the hose, because the hose goes on the carb cleaner. You really want to get crazy, what we should have done is put a little bit of JB Weld here, a little bit of gasket sealer or something to keep this sealed, but it doesn't really leak all that much. So you got a little hole in that, put it on the tire valve here, screw it in, and you attach it to the carb cleaner. Now what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up putting our old injector clip on our old injector. We're going to put power to it on the battery, either the click and spray, or it'll dribble or get stuck or whatever. So we're going to try a number of these Ford injectors and see if there's any of them that are stuck. Mainly going to focus on the 42s here. But I'm gonna go ahead and go through some of these old knockoffs. These things have been sitting on the shelf for probably 4 or 5 years now. A lot of these injectors, especially the 30s and the 24s, and these old junky ones that we got out of a parts car, go through a couple of them, see if they work. Let me show you how it works. And we got this injector ready to fire. Go ahead and hit it. So basically what Cousin Paul's doing right here is he's simulating the injector pulse. That's usually a pretty good sign. I'm gonna give Cousin Fred the old momentary switch. I'm gonna plug the old factory one in here, 42-pound injector. And then I'm gonna take the hose, connect it to the carb cleaner, and I'm gonna stick the tire valve on the back side of this 42. Goes in there pretty tight, and the clamp kind of keeps it kind of pressurized. Now, if you hear your injector clicking, that's usually a pretty good sign. That means that the valve's actually working in there. That doesn't mean it still sprays though, and I'll show you here what I'm talking about here in a second. We got the hose in the back side of the injector. All right, so you can see it sprays pretty good. So we're gonna try, sometimes you get a little bit messy. It is what it is. Carb cleaner is like brake cleaner. It'll literally evaporate pretty quick. So this is the old knockoff injector that I was just talking about. And you can see it's got the same Ford number, but doesn't have the Ford stamp on it. Let's see if this thing even works. Now you can get these injector cleaning kits where they kind of restore your injectors a little bit. And you wanna pull this filter out. So you screw it in. Comes with this tool. Pulls it right out. These look like they're in pretty good condition. And you can see the kit comes with a bunch of stuff. If you're doing a lot of injectors, has pintle caps and O-rings, and usually has some filters. We've done a lot of stuff, so you can replace the filters on most of these little factory Ford injectors. I wanted to show you the knockoff. So we'll connect it. Cousin Fred will hit the momentary. It's not working at all. So I'm gonna take a little hammer to it. Keep hitting it. Take it out. I mean, you don't have to bang the shit out of it. You just have to. It's like a starter. You guys have an old Chevy starter, you know that, or an old Ford starter. You got to bang a little bit. Sometimes they'll engage. It's just a valve. That's all it is. Let me see if it'll actually spray. And remember, these are the knockoff ones. So we'll put the little tire valve on the back side of this. Should go over that lip like that. Go ahead and hit the switch. I'll be damned. Look at that. Not bad, huh? We're gonna go through a couple of the other injectors. Let me show you what an injector will do sometimes. You might think just because it clicks, it's gonna work. Let me show you what'll happen to it. This one's probably needs to be replaced. Old injector, probably hasn't been fired in years. Now it clicks now because I've hit it with a hammer like I did that other one just a little bit ago. Watch this though. Go ahead and hit the button. See that? Not functioning correctly. Probably just faulty at this point. Go ahead and continue hitting it. Just dribbles, you know what I mean? So that's basically like one example of a really bad injector. It still clicks, but it's just not spraying at all. It's dribbling. And what'll happen is this will starve your cylinder. It'll make your car run like shit. And then you'll wonder, well, what's going on? Or do I need a tune-up? You'll start replacing and throwing parts at it. How many times have you guys done that? Distributor cap, distributor wires, spark plugs, could be your injectors. So keep that in mind. Try a couple more of these. I'll go through the pack of 42s because we're about to install these on my dad's car. As far as these knockoff 42s are concerned, you can actually see the difference in the spray pattern. You can see that spray pattern. A knockoff version of the same injector has a different spray to it. These filters are normally real brown and real bad. O-ring, filter, pintle caps, O-ring. Cleaning them, you're not gonna have any problems with them. That's got a good spray pattern, look at that. Last part of the video, we're gonna go through our main objective is to check the spray pattern and lubricate these up a little bit. That way when we put them in Dad's car over here, we're not gonna have an issue with fuel and we're not gonna have an issue with the injectors. And that's kind of the main reason for me bringing in the video. Some of these have filters in them because we just put them in. I'm not gonna take them back out. Good enough. Number 2 is not clicking. Car probably wouldn't have started right. I'll be damned, look at that. Good enough. Okay, so we checked all 8 and pretty much 6 or 7 of them were like stuck. And you just take a little ball peen hammer or something, not here trying to damage it. Just get it get it unlocked. You know what I mean? That's what they've been sitting for a long time. They're definitely going to be stuck. If you guys are having issues with your car, it's got the symptoms of a bad injector. Could be much like those of a tune-up. Loss of power, loss of torque, misfire for sure, stumbling, suffering, and acceleration doesn't accelerate as well as it used to be. Just runs like shit. A lot of those symptoms are much like you would when you have a bad tune-up, like a bad spark plug or wire or whatever. So when you're having an issue like with a misfire, check out your injectors. Might be one that's stuck, might be one that's not even working. So we had a couple of those old factory ones that we probably won't even ever be able to use again. But nonetheless, I hope the video was informative to some of you guys. This is just a rough rudimentary way of cleaning them. If you're making some good horsepower and you have some injectors that are much bigger, it's probably better you just send them out to the professionals, let them get them flow matched and cleaned up for you. If you guys enjoy this sort of stuff, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, let me know what you think. Check out that join button, become a member of the channel, and get exclusive content to the channel. Outside of that, I appreciate you for watching. See you soon in the next video.